I'm Gwen Preston of Resource Maven. We're here at the Metals Investor Forum in Vancouver and in November, and I'm joined by Thomas Mumford of Scottie Resources. Thanks for joining us here at the conference today.
Thanks for having me.
So you're leading the exploration charge at Scottie, which there's a lot of different opportunities at this land package. I mean, it's a bit of a pieced together land package in the first place, and then there's a bunch of different targets within it. So do you want to just set the scene, first of all, of what Scottie is exploring, and then we can dive into some of the details?
Sure. So we have a total of 18,500 hectares in the southern end of the Golden Triangle. Our main flagship asset is located between the Bruce Jack mine and SCOT's Premier Mill.
Yeah.
And so we have a land package around that asset, but we also have another 10,000 hectares to the east of Stewart, which would be just west of Red Mountain.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll focus mostly on that area that's near SCOT and Pretium.
Yeah.
And so there's a historic mine there, the
Yep.
Scottie mine, that churned out some super high grade stuff.
Yep.
And there's opportunity around that. And then there's a greater land package around it that's been underexplored. So let's start with the Scottie mine. You guys recently published some results from there.
Yep.
What's new with Scottie? I know other companies have previously come in
Yep.
and punched holes into Scottie, and there was a perception that it was what it was and there wasn't that much more. Mm-hmm. You guys have a different idea.
Totally. So Scottie itself produced 95,000 ounces at 16.2 grams per ton. Great high-grade gold, and it never ran out of ore. It has a historic resource sitting in front of it, and they didn't run out of ore. Basically, the economics of the time shut down the mine.
Sure.
$800 gold goes down to $300, and you have a $20 million loan at 20% interest, and you just can't get out. So the project went to the Royal Bank of Canada and then just kind of floundered between a few different vendors.
Yeah.
They gave it a reasonable drill program back in 2004, 2005.
Okay.
But they were just looking for the ounces in front of the vein. They have one vein. They found it at surface. They started mining that vein, and that's all they really went after. And they were just looking to keep mining. It was a good, cost-effective mine at that point.
Right.
But they didn't do property scale exploration. So within the actual mine only sits on 400 hectares, a Crown Grant package. And so they didn't actually step outside of that one main vein and actually start superficial drilling of other main targets within the zone. And so when I first came onto the project, we just had that little claim package, and that's what our exploration was focused on. We were looking at different structural models to explain why we would have another one of these. The main zone is called the M zone. Why would we have another one of these dilational zones? Would it be on strike? Would it be parallel? We're seeing a lot of parallel vein systems through it. Right. And so we were looking at both of those options, of both finding another one on strike and then one in a parallel vein system.
And just the other day, you put out some results that bode well, that suggest that you're on the right track there.
Right. So that is related to the claims that we staked around it. So we had the great fortune in April this year that the claim blocks that surrounded the Scottie Gold Mine came available. And we were able to acquire those for a really reasonable price. And we went into that land, which hadn't really been explored for the last 25 years.
Yeah.
Nobody had really looked at it. The last real exploration done on the ground, like with ground workers taking superficial samples, was in early 90s.
Right.
And they had some success, but they never drilled anything. They never got that far.
Yeah.
So we went back in, and since then, massive glacial retreat. So we were focusing on zones around the margins of the glaciers and going back in and just looking at some of these zones again. And we had some great numbers.
So those are surface sampling numbers.
Yep.
And then there's, if you take another step farther back, then you've done geophysics as well in some of that new adjoining land package, which happens to be called Summit Lake. And there's additional interest in targets around there.
Yeah, so we didn't do the geophysics, but we acquired the geophysical survey from a previous vendor.
Okay.
And those are the ones that also haven't been drilled. Nothing's been drilled on Summit Lake, so it's super exciting that way. But the EM is an electromagnetic survey. Those targets just scream where Scottie Gold is, and then other known mineral occurrences around the Scottie Gold. So they're very coincident with that. The mineralization at Scottie is a pyrite purite, and purite is a strongly magnetic mineral. And unfortunately, magnetic signatures like the or just magnetic surveys don't really pick it up, but electromagnetic seems to really make it scream. And so we have another, 6 other anomalies that are very, very similar to what we see at Scottie that we're excited to go back in and look to. So we went out, we looked at them, we resampled them. We're getting the results now, and that's one of the examples of the ones we just published this week.
So, it's one of the things just right in this moment that stands out about Scottie is you did a lot of field work almost late in the season. And so there's a bunch of results still coming in, which is great for a company that can't work in the winter.
Yeah.
So those results will keep coming in through the winter. And then obviously you're setting up to get out there and actually start really drill testing this opportunity for the first time next summer.
Yeah, we're looking to drill test those. We did do a drill program late season. It was 2,000 meters. It was in the last possible 3 weeks that you could run anything in the Golden Triangle.
Yeah.
And we did get 2,000 meters out, but those were on different targets because we didn't have drill permits yet for that larger land package. So we were drilling known zones and just extending them both laterally and at depth.
Yeah. So for those who like potential for high-grade discoveries in the Golden Triangle, which there's definitely a cadre of investors who like that right now.
Yeah.
Scottie's sort of lining up for exactly that with results yet to come.
Oh, we're at the top of the pile if you're looking for high-grade, new, exciting discoveries in the area.
Not biased at all. But
No.
No, perfect. Thanks so much for coming in and telling the story.
Thanks.